And our Premier League insider, David Ornstein, joins us from Manchester. David, we've talked about Eddie Howe at the top of the show today, saying he is just starting to come under a little bit of pressure. How much?
Well, firstly, Rebecca, the project at St James's Park under the Saudi-led ownership is clearly not going to plan. It started so well, but now seems to have hit a bit of a plateau. The pressure you mention on Eddie Howe feels to me to be external from sections of the fan base and the wider public. But from my understanding and information, that is not reflected internally. I don't know of any conversations that have even begun to suggest that they may embark upon a process to replace Eddie Howe. Now, you know, in football, things can change very quickly, but I think there would still need to be a drastic downturn for anything to change on that front. Not least because if they were to replace him, I'm not sure they could afford it, based on the fact that it would cost a lot to get rid of him and also hire new staff. And why is that a problem? Because Newcastle are in a world of pain on profitability and sustainability, and managerial coaching changes all go against that record as well. Why are they in a world of PSR pain? Because they've invested very heavily since the new ownership arrived in October 2021 in the transfer market. I think it's about £250 million. They're one of the highest net spenders in Europe's top 5 leagues in that period. And within the recruitment, they brought in a lot of very good players, it must be said, who were crucial for them and for Eddie Howe in propelling Newcastle forward. But the age profile was not good. And those players are even older and more injury prone now on big contracts. And the reality is, nobody wants to take them off Newcastle's hands. And if you're not going to raise your own revenues organically, you need to be selling players. The ones they would like to sell, there's no market for. The ones that there is a market for, they don't want to sell. The likes of Alexander Isak. You know, I think they would do a deal on somebody like Bruno Guimaraes, but I'm not sure the market is even there for him now. And he's 27 years old. Rumours of Manchester City being in for him in January. That's not information that I have personally. What Newcastle do have as a result of all of this is a very good squad. Eddie Howe has some top players at his disposal. Some of them, like Louis Miley, can't even get on the bench at the moment. There are players coming back to fitness. The new regime of Paul Mitchell, sporting director, James Bunce, head of performance. They're getting over some of the injury problems. Those that are still out are more at the older age bracket. And so the priority will be to deliver. And if you look at the matches today, Leicester City, then a crucial League Cup quarter-final first leg against Brentford at home. They would have eyes on getting to Wembley and towards a trophy. And then they play Ipswich away. They haven't won at home all season, Ipswich. Aston Villa massive as well, and finish the year against Manchester United. All eyes on Eddie Howe, but he is backed by the Newcastle hierarchy for now.
Let's talk about another manager under some pressure, David. Tottenham. They go to Southampton tomorrow. Ange Postecoglou's had another difficult week. On Wednesday, I think it was, saying, I don't criticise my players in public. Thursday, criticised Timo Werner. Friday, said it's not criticism, it's an assessment. He is under pressure. Questions are being fired at him from all angles. Where does he stand from inside the club, David?
Not too dissimilar to Newcastle, Rebecca. The pressure is external. Ange Postecoglou is squarely being backed by the Tottenham Hotspur hierarchy. Every bit of dialogue that I have had so far suggests that he is fully supported, and they are not thinking about changing Ange Postecoglou. Some sections of the fan base and the wider public might not like to hear that, but it is the case as things stand. Now, as we said with Howe, things can change quickly. What if Tottenham go to Southampton tomorrow evening and get thumped? We might be having a different conversation. But they're not there in their thinking yet. And this is where the difference comes to Howe, because Tottenham have taken a different strategy to recent years. They've not gone for experienced, big-name players in the transfer market and through their academy. They've gone for younger players. If we look at the likes of Archie Gray, Lucas Bergvall, Wilson Odobert, and bringing through somebody like Mikey Moore, they've put their faith in Ange Postecoglou to develop a younger squad that they hope will pay dividends in the future. Now, patience is a word that nobody likes. It's in short supply. But they are confident, and that is why they, Daniel Levy, as the man at the top of the tree, are standing by Ange Postecoglou. They've tried the alternative route with the Jose Mourinho and Antonio Conte. It hasn't worked, and it's come down in pretty spectacular fashion. There's been a huge churn of players leaving the club, new faces coming in. It's still relatively embryonic in terms of their settling in process. They've not been helped by injuries, an unprecedented crisis they're describing it as. Is that bad luck? Is it part that they need to improve in the medical department? They'll be looking into that. The Romero comments were not good, pointing fingers at the hierarchy. Far from ideal. The Werner situation that you referenced there and the Ange Postecoglou comments around that shows he is feeling some of the heat, but he is only human as well. They do have finances. They're in a decent position. They could dip into the market January or summer, but I think their focus will be getting their players back from injury and using the resources at their disposal. If you look at their fixtures, Southampton, a quarter-final in the League Cup of their own against Man United, Liverpool and Forest. This is a massive period for Spurs and for Ange Postecoglou.
Yeah, that League Cup quarter-finals. Oh, that's going to weigh heavy. Thank you very much. As always, brilliant stuff from our Premier League insider, David Ornstein.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And if you want even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.